Leeds United stars go on international duty all the time. Well, I say all the time. They go on international duty every time there is international duty to be gone on because we have one of the best squads in the Championship. And there is always a little bit of a risk of injury. But there are some bigger issues to be discussed after last night, especially compared to what has been happening in other recent weeks, because Willie Gnonto is now out injured. Now, I'll get into the details in a couple of minutes, but it's a fairly big and emerging story, which is fairly of interest. But whilst you're here, like the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Anyway, diving into it. Gnonto is out injured because he was challenged in the match versus the Netherlands yesterday for Italy's under-21s and injured his ankle. It was a situation where he was trying to control the ball, managed to slip up on it, and it looked like it twisted in a fairly weird, unpleasant manner. Initially, he went down on the 40th minute, tried to run it off, but it didn't work out, and he needed to be substituted off on the 45th, which, when you're looking at it at face value, is a very, very bad situation to be in, especially when Willie Gnonto was, until that point, playing pretty damn well. He was creating good opportunities, was unlucky not to score, and from what I've seen of the highlights, was a very big part of the way that we were sort of, I say we, the way that Italy was sort of building up in attack, and he was playing centrally, which is what a lot of people are asking to happen at Leeds United now. So you combine all of those things, and we're in a situation where it's not looking great, and you need to look a little bit further at how bad the issue is. The way that the Italian social media team phrased it was the striker is forced to leave due to an ankle problem. Now, this is a fairly big, grandiose statement where I think we've got a little bit of an issue with translation. In this case, forced to leave means to leave the pitch. It doesn't mean forced to leave the international camp. It doesn't mean forced to leave the country. Just forced to go off the pitch, which isn't that big of an issue. It could just be a knock, but it's still something that we need to be aware of. And that was said during the match, so it's unsure if he's coming back to Leeds or not already. Keeping in mind that I wrote this video a couple of hours ago before I'm recording it, so information might have changed. I've had a quick skim, but I've not seen anything new. Adam Pope had a little bit of a deeper dive into everything to see what he could find out, and he said that it needs to be checked over, but it could be a muscular problem. And in addition to that, he said to an Italian source effectively that what's going on here, and the source said back to him, we'll know more when it settles down, which makes it seem a little bit... Was it Pascal Struijk earlier in the season that had a bit of an issue, was waiting for sort of the issue to go down within his knee so he could work out what was going on, and then went through treatment. Feels like it's in that immediate post-injury trauma moment for now, but we'll grow out of that and we will eventually find out what needs to happen with Willie Gnonto. But there are a few different things that it means for Leeds United. And what it means for Leeds is fairly complicated and depends on what your opinion is on a range of different conversations. First off, it does affect that Aaronson-Gnonto conversation massively, because a lot of people have noticed that in recent weeks and months, Brenden Aaronson has been maybe a little bit off it. Earlier on in the season, he was scoring goals, creating chances for the players around him, and he's still one of Leeds' best creators of chances. But in recent weeks, that's not exactly been what's happening at the moment. He's sort of been a little bit leggy, a little bit behind it, a little bit slow. And that meant that when Willie Gnonto came on the other week in the number 10 and he looked really impressive, everyone was sort of like, cool, we'll get Willie Gnonto starting. That'll fix the problem. It's not really fixed the problem when he's got a pretty significant ankle issue. And again, we don't know what the severity is, but it gets significantly harder to start Willie Gnonto. And we get into the position of, okay, so who can fit into the 10 if Aaronson isn't quite with it? Aaronson will have had 2 weeks of rest and training to get back into the perfect sort of groove. But whether that is enough to get him in the direction that we kind of need him at the moment is a significantly bigger question. And it will take a little bit of time to get Willie Gnonto healthy again. If this is just a bit of a knock, then at the very least you can expect him to probably miss one match. But if it's a little bit more serious, if it's 2 weeks out, then he's still got to spend a little bit of time recovering from the injury. And then you end up missing even more matches, and it potentially puts him out of starting contention for the majority of the rest of the season. Hopefully it is just a knock, but it does open a wider conversation around international duty. So looking at the wing areas. In terms of wingers, we have Dan James, Hannah Solomon, Willie Gnonto, Laji Ramazani. Willie Gnonto has already suffered a little bit of an injury on international duty, so we'll say that's 3 wingers left. Dan James is on international duty as well and is already looking fairly tired, so potentially leaves us with 2. And Manor Solomon is also on international duty with Israel, and that puts us in an even spookier situation of, if things go really wrong, it's Laji Ramazani and maybe Sam Chambers. Ultimately, international duty is being a very significant problem for us this season, last season, for a long time now. And it's the sort of thing where we need to be in a position to be a lot more durable to deal with it. And it shows the danger of this entire period. Leeds United have 10 first-team options still away on various levels of international stuff. And being in this weird sort of vortex of any of those could come back injured and derail the season is terrifying. I'll be honest with you. And it leaves a very, very big question around, will it ruin the promotion push? Because we're in that final stage now. I'm having a look at my lovely little whiteboard planner thing. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks left of the season, in which one of those is an international break, which leaves 5 weeks. And from that point, we've got 8 matches, and we will need to win as many as we can. For me, I think we've got plenty of talent in the side, and we should be okay from that perspective. In addition to that, we've got some key players getting a little bit of a rest, and I had a look at the reverse fixtures for all of the matches we've got left. We won 6 of those and we drew 2. So in theory, we're looking good. We are better than the majority of sides in this league, and I would argue all of the sides that are left to be played. And I think we definitely do have the talent to take us up, but I said that last year, and we know how that one ended. So currently, I'm in a position of, yeah, we're going to go up. But that's more wobbly than I want it to be. So what I really want to see is good news when we play against Swansea. And we invite them to Elland Road, beat them senseless, send them back to Wales. Send them back to the sheep in a heap. That was a nice little rhyme. But hopefully it all turns out to be fine. At the end of the day, that's all what I think. I've covered as much of the Gnonto situation as I can and sort of wider international break stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's always much appreciated. Like the video if you enjoyed it. That's wonderful. Even be a channel member or do super chats and stuff like that. That's all going to the charity match, which I'm going to have some very, very big news coming within a week. Oh, so that's fun as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Gnonto's just great, isn't he? Why has he got to be injured? He's not had the best of times at Leeds, has he? He was like, cool, I'm an under-21. Oh, I'm in the first team. Oh, I'm on strike. Oh, I'm injured. Oh, we didn't get promoted. Oh, I'm not starting. Oh, I'm injured again. Consistency, please, Willie. That's what he said before taking the blue pill. Never mind. See you later.